Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Starkeep Wormstead, and this will be our third segment. And what am I dealing with today? Let me do that again. All right. What are we dealing with today? The rain. What? I remember in June, I was literally like, God, please let it rain. Be careful what you pray for and what you ask for, because He heard us. And, He's an abundant God. And now we have an abundance of rain. We have literally gotten 3.5 inches of rain in 72 hours. 2.5 inches of that came in 45 minutes in one big storm. We're looking at rain from 11 o'clock this afternoon all the way to 7 o'clock tonight. Guess what's going to do tomorrow? You're right, it's going to rain. Guess what it's going to do Saturday? It's supposed to rain. And so this little continual cycle is just pouring down on top of us. Things I'm having to deal with, all right? I've never had a chicken with an impacted croup. The other day, somebody was like, what do I do? Like my coop is really muddy from all the rain. And somebody else was like, oh, put this, put that. Everybody's telling them, what they put in their coops. And somebody said, be careful with hay, because your chickens could get an impacted croup. And of course, I may have responded, but I was actually sitting there thinking, never happened to me. I put hay in mine all the time. I feed my rabbits hay, and I have a racking pen, so whatever they don't eat, it falls through to the ground in the chicken coop. And I'm thinking, I had chicken 2.5 years. I've never had a chicken with an impacted croup. God has a funny way of showing you, be careful with your words. Be careful with judging people, okay? Like, I'm thinking that has never happened to me. I go out, we're doing quail checks because we had a quail that had a sour croup. And you guys heard us say, like, we're new to quail. We've only had them for about 8 weeks. So it could have been what we were feeding them. It could have been 1,000 different things, not getting enough grit. So we're learning with the quail. But during that process of us treating all the quail, I noticed that one of my beautiful golden buffs has got like this swollen chest plate. Girl had big chest, And I'm like, that's not normal. So my husband picks her up and he can like manipulate it, right? Like he is like, and it's moving. And he's like, she's got an impacted croup, Sam. What? So pretty girl is in a pen over here by herself, mad about her only soft food diet that she's getting, mad about it. And her daily chest massages to break this thing up, that's like tremendous. Woke up to a dead quail. I'm telling y'all now, it's coming from the sour croup. It will kill them. They're small birds. They're fragile. They're so stinking fragile. So my husband we're going to have to change their feed until I can grow enough fodder to feed them the way that I want to, all naturally. We're learning that quail are way more grain-based, seed-based birds, less pelleted feed, less ground vegetables, less all of that. Even the black soldier fly larvae that I've been feeding all my birds, I back off with that off the quail for just a little bit until I really figure this bird out. So when you have new animals on your property, it's why my husband and I always say one animal at a time. Because if you're not careful, you get into a situation where you have to buy pelleted feed because you can't seem to figure out how to feed them. They're all different. They're similar, but they are all different. And it takes so much time to set up a sustainable system in that closed loop to be able to cut the inputs coming in onto your farm, right? So that's why we keep telling you guys that. Like, take your time. Don't beat yourself up. I told y'all last year I killed like 38 rabbits. Trying to change that feed too quick, not knowing enough, not growing the proper things. I did figure out it wasn't really the grass I was feeding them. It was the clover, white clover. Rabbits can't belch. They can't vomit. You put a lot of clover, which is really gassy. You can't even feed cows a lot of clover. Into that belly, they bloated. Poof, all these babies dead. So when I found the dead quail this morning, I didn't freak out. I didn't bust out crying, and I wasn't like, okay, I'm done. I'm not homesteading anymore because I can't do this. Took a deep breath. And I was like, okay, God, I'm doing something wrong. I'm doing something wrong. Show me what I'm doing wrong. I sat down with my husband. We talked about it. We made some executive decisions on putting them on a specific type of feed until I can replicate that on the farm. So we're not one of those people that are like, you know, get animals and just feed them on grass kind of people. Like, I understand that they have to have specific nutrients, each type of animal. That's why you're not going to find any other animals on this property now for a good 8 months as I'm adjusting to the quail and feeding them, housing them, breeding them, treating their ailments, all of that stuff. Excuse me. Be careful judging other people. We all don't have the same type of setup. We all don't have the same type of natural resources. We all don't have the same type of weather. Louisiana weather is insane. I love it. But you better love to sweat. I know a lot of people watch my videos and like, girl, you sweat. You ever been in Louisiana in the summer at 11 o'clock in the sun? Boo-boo, I don't care if it's shady like today. We got a lot of clouds up there and the sun's not coming through. I'm already sweating. It's humid here. It's humid here 10 months out of the year. It is hot here 9 months out of the year. It is wet in this state. At least 10 months out of the year, we're wet. You will feel like your clothes are wet, your feet are wet, everything is muddy. I mean, it's just the type of environment that we have. Therefore, Louisiana gets a lot of fungal diseases in our animals, in our gardens. We get a lot of pest pressure. Though God created a sustainable ecosystem when he created the earth. For every pest we have a natural predator. But you have to give it time to build up. I do get a lot of mice on my property, in my shop, wood rats. I get them in the house if I don't set traps regularly. Best thing I can do for that is make sure that I have a lot of coverage and housing for natural predators like owls and that type of stuff, because they are great. Owls, hawks. I'm not worried about them attacking my chickens. My chickens, the dog literally, the German Shepherd literally sleeps in the coop and the run with the chickens. Half of it's open on top. The birds don't, those type of predatory birds don't have to come in for my chickens because I have plenty of like slithery, icky, nasty little critters on the ground that they can have free range with. Free range with, go get them. So I just want to tell you guys, that's what we're dealing with today. I mean, just tremendous wet. I can't seem to get the coop dry. My husband's like, look, stop bringing out wheelbarrows of leaves and stuff, because all they do is step on that, push it down, the mud just bubbles back up. He's like, leave it be. It will stop raining eventually, Sam. It will dry back out eventually, Sam. They have a dry area they can go to. You have roosting poles and areas for them to get up. They're all over my porch. It's driving him insane because there's poop all over the concrete leading up to the front porch and on the porch. But when it rains really hard, rather than go back in the covered areas in their coop, they just stay up there with the dog. So, I mean, I don't like it. I have to rinse it off every day. Something else I have to deal with. But they're healthy. So I'm going to leave this system alone. I'm going to stop killing myself trying to dry out a coop that can't dry out because it won't stop raining. It doesn't matter what I put in that coop. So if you have that problem, no matter where you're located, make sure your chickens have another area that they can go into so that they can dry their feet out. Look, these guys are these guys are basically waterproof, okay? All those feathers, I mean, they could stay in the rain, directly in the rain all day. Shake those feathers and they're dry where their skin is. Don't feel like you need to leave them in a closed-in area because, oh my God, it's raining. Guys, let the birds out. Make sure they do have a place where their feet have time to dry out. So you guys have a blessed day. Oh, look, there comes my next tour, and I still haven't finished feeding the rabbit. So that's something else I'm dealing with. And everybody, Stephen's doing much better. We appreciate the prayers, and you guys just keep watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.